All right, guys, welcome to day 2 of my free weightlifting program. I'm just putting out there for everybody a program that I myself wrote and am in the process of going through myself. Certainly not my first weightlifting program, but I'm going to be honest, I really like this one. One of the reasons I really like it, which we'll see here in a second, is that it's auto-regulated, meaning you set your training max at the beginning of the week in day 1 and day 2, and the rest of the week are the lifts, the intensities of the lift are determined by the numbers you set at the beginning of the week. So if it's a bad week for you, your whole entire week is going to reflect a little bit easier workload, and you're not going to kill yourself trying to hit numbers, that you hit in your best week or your all-time lifetime PRs or anything like that. So I'm kind of accelerating the foam rolling here by using a barbell. I really like just using a barbell here to floss into these corners, loosen up the hips, kind of open things up, hit the low back, of course, in weightlifting. Today there's a lot of cleans on the docket. You got to have that low back nice and fluid, got to have that ability to brace the core and still get full hip flexion. So the barbell is aggressive, and it will teach you a lesson when it comes to kind of opening things up here. So mash in the back a little bit, then I kind of open up the legs, open up the hips, just kind of flossing around. How does it feel? How's everything feeling after the workout from the day before, after the sleep I got last night, and just kind of holding some things. I didn't warm up very long for this workout. I have a problem. I definitely should warm up more, but I'm too excited to get into the actual lifts, and I never feel better than at the end of my working sets. I feel great. I feel like I could smash all my PRs at the end of the working sets, but when I first come into the gym and I'm going through these warm-ups, I feel tight and painful and just achy, and it's not ideal. Doing some snow angels here. I just make it up. It's a good time. So feeling pretty good. Trying just to get those legs, get some blood flow and everything else. But like I said, my favorite way to warm up is just get under some weight. So here we got a $135 on the bar. I think that's what that is. And I usually keep my hoodie on for the first couple of sets, but it's actually really hard in the clean and jerk because those darn little ties, little hoodie tie things get in my face and they hit me in the eye and everything. So I just shed the hoodie. It was pretty warm. I was feeling pretty good. 185, so in 135, 185, here is 225. I took some crazy big jumps. Honestly, I had a number in mind that I wanted to hit like usual, and I did not hit it. Didn't even try it. 225 felt not great. It went up fast enough, but did not feel great. So I put 15s on to 2 plates, which is 255. Don't quote me on that. And that felt okay, to be honest. But then I went to 275, which is my training max right now, and felt like a ton of bricks. Awkward, unstable, shaky, slow as molasses, felt like garbage. I really want to work on my contact. I really want to work on bringing the hips forward through that squat fast. You can see so slow, almost stop. And then as those hips come forward, I get my speed back to the point where that bar jumps off the shoulders at the top. Stabilize, balance, think about it, drop, pause, and explode. And 275 was the limit. I wanted to hit 295, guys. I wanted that 300-pound clean and jerk today, but unfortunately just didn't think I had it. I could have tried, and I was so on the fence. I sat there for a solid 45 seconds sitting there thinking about if I should throw 10s on and go again. This was my first attempt at 275 for the day, and I hit it, but I could just tell by the way that it felt, that was going to be the training max for the next week. So hopefully next week we see that 300-pound clean and jerk. Now I'm doing a 5x3, 5 sets of 3 repetitions, clean, full clean at I think 80%, which is 220. I just went with the 2 cookie, so we're looking at 225. These felt sluggish. They felt very miserable. I haven't been back to strictly Olympic weightlifting long enough to feel quite where I felt before when I was cleaning 300 plus. So for how long I've been back at it, it is definitely feeling better. The front rack in particular today felt pretty darn good. It's only been a week or so that I've really, maybe a couple of weeks that I've really been getting into some strict Olympic weightlifting training, and the front rack is feeling so much more fluid, so much more mobilized. I'm not achy in the elbows or the wrists the same way. I could tell that my thoracic cavity is really starting to open up and get that mobility back, which is fantastic. So these triples, it's cardio more than anything else. You could tell I was sweating good after these. And I bet money if I would have taken a little rest pause and come back to a PR attempt, I could have hit 295. But like I said, you know, those first few reps, I should have spent longer warming up. I should have done better cueing. I should have taken more sets with smaller weight jumps. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Next week, I'm hoping for a 300-pound clean and jerk in my second workout of the week of the training cycle that I go through. So this here is the last set, last triple. Yeah, what can I say? Just trying to keep my position. Of course, hook gripping this the whole time, getting tight, pulling, and man, it just felt so slow. It's not heavy per se, you know, 80% isn't the end of the world, but I could feel my body resisting the speed. You know, I just was so tired. I apologize about this, guys. I tried this crazy angle just to mix things up, and I didn't realize that my phone was going to orient into portrait instead of landscape. So a little bit of a kooky thing going on with the sidebars. I promise it fixes in the next exercise, but a little bit of a top-down angle here as I do some push press, and I am digging the push press for a couple of reasons. It's just spending time in the front rack. Anything overhead where you're vertically loading your body, your spine, is fantastic for the core. Some of my favorite core work is front rack and overhead, so of course the push press falls right into that. Full body explosive power position through the hips. This is going to help build my vertical, which is important to me, you know, that hip explosion. And frankly, it's feeling good. My overhead is feeling good, and I'm building some confidence there, which of course you need for the snatch and the jerk. So just breeze right through these. It was only, what are we talking here, fives, triples? I don't even know what I was doing. 5x5, that's what we were doing here. And I just go straight into it. You know, that deceleration, that negative portion, lowering the weight into the front rack is really what builds a lot of neuromuscular facilitation. So you do get quite a bit stronger doing that. Here we are back to 2 cookies, and this is a front squat, but it's a 5x5. Instead of 3 cleans, it's 5 front squats. And I have long said that snatching is easier than overhead squatting, and cleaning is easier than front squatting. Not that you can do heavier weight per se, but you're not thinking about the weight in the same way. You're thinking about the second portion of the lift, or catching the weight as it's being thrown down upon you, or you're pulling underneath it rather. So to me, it's more miserable to front squat than it is to clean, if that makes any sense at all. And of course, I'm doing 5 reps instead of 3, or doubles or singles or whatever else. So just building time in that front rack position. I really want to build that leg strength. And of course, that posterior chain is used in weightlifting, but I really need to build those anterior drivers, the quadriceps, primarily the hip flexors. So I'm really working hard on front rack, front loading. And I'll tell you what, my upper back, my shoulders, my mid trapezius, just beat up, just really, really stimulated and beat up from this workout, which is fantastic, which is exactly what I wanted. So I don't think there's a single movement out there that can compare to just a good Olympic style front squat when it comes to building athleticism. You talk about core integration, you talk about proprioception, you talk about upper body, mid body, lower body integration. It's insane. I think the front squat is one of the most athletic movements that the human body can do. It's straight up ridiculous. So here's my final set of the workout. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, be sure and drop them down below, and I will reply to them as I come across them. And stay tuned for day 3 of 5 coming up next. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and as always, we will catch you in that next video.